This is the story of the skinniest chicken in the world. He was so skinny that his ribs were showing. The locals called him the skinny chicken, but he had a dream to become a YouTuber. So one day he left his farm and went into the big city to pursue his dreams. On his way to the city, he met an old, wise turtle. "Hello," said the turtle. "Where are you off to in such a hurry?" "I'm on my way to the city. I want to be a YouTuber," replied the skinny chicken. The turtle shook his head. "You chickens are all the same. You don't even know what a YouTube channel is, and yet you want to start your own. Have you ever thought about just being a regular chicken? It might be better for you." The skinny chicken didn't listen to the turtle's advice. Instead, he ran all the way to the city, past the tall buildings, the busy streets, and the deep sewers. He found an apartment building with a sign that read, "Do you have a YouTube channel? Apply inside." He knocked on the door and a pigeon opened it. The skinny chicken asked the pigeon if he could talk to someone about starting his own YouTube channel. "Sure," replied the pigeon. "Just go down the hallway and turn right at the fork. You'll find the manager at the end of the hall." So the skinny chicken did as the pigeon suggested. He walked down the hallway, turned right, and continued walking until he came across a fat cat sitting behind a desk. "Hello," said the skinny chicken. "I'd like to ask about starting my own YouTube channel." The fat cat looked up from his puzz and replied, "YouTube channels are for cats only. Chickens can't have their own YouTube channels." The skinny chicken was very disappointed, but he wasn't giving up. He had come too far to turn back now. He looked around the room and spotted a dog in the corner. He walked over to the dog and asked, "Can you help me start a YouTube channel?" The dog replied, "YouTube channels are for dogs only. I'm sorry, but I can't help you." The skinny chicken was feeling down, but he knew he couldn't give up. He had to keep trying to find someone who could help him start his own YouTube channel. So he walked out of the building and onto the street. He didn't know where to go next, but he kept walking until he came across a park. As he was walking through the park, he saw a squirrel sitting on a tree stump. The squirrel looked up at the skinny chicken and said, "What are you doing here?" "This park is for animals only. I'd like to ask you for a favor," replied the skinny chicken. "Can you help me start my own YouTube channel?" The squirrel thought for a moment. "I don't usually help chickens, but you seem like a nice bird. I'll help you start your own YouTube channel." The squirrel led the skinny chicken to a clearing in the woods. There was a small cabin in the clearing and a sign on the wall that read, "Apply inside for a YouTube channel." The skinny chicken knocked on the door and a frog opened it. "Hello," said the skinny chicken. "I'd like to apply for my own YouTube channel." The frog looked at the skinny chicken and said, "Of course, you can have your own YouTube channel. Everyone can have their own YouTube channel." The skinny chicken was so happy. He finally found someone who believed in him. He thanked the frog and started planning his first video. He wanted to make a video about his journey to the city and how he had been rejected by the pigeon, the fat cat, and the dog. He thought it would be funny to include footage of them reacting negatively to him, so he got to work filming his video. He interviewed the turtle, the squirrel, and the frog, and then edited the footage together with some funny music and sound effects. When he was finished, he uploaded the video to YouTube and waited for the comments to start rolling in. At first, no one was watching his videos. He didn't understand why. He had worked so hard on it, and he thought it was funny. Maybe the city chickens were right. Maybe he should have stayed on the farm. But then something amazing happened. A cow commented, "This is the best chicken video I've ever seen." A pig commented, "I love this chicken. He's so funny." And a goat commented, "This chicken is a natural comedian." The skinny chicken was so happy. He couldn't believe that people were actually watching his videos, and they liked it. As the days went by, more and more people commented on his videos. He had gained over 100,000 subscribers, and he was getting invited to appear on other YouTube channels. The skinny chicken was so grateful for the support. He had finally achieved his dream of becoming a YouTuber, and it all started because he didn't listen to the wise turtle. The turtle had tried to warn him that making YouTube videos wasn't going to be easy, but the skinny chicken had been too eager to pursue his dream. The skinny chicken had to learn the hard way that just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it. He also learned that sometimes it's better to listen to the advice of others, especially if they're older and wiser than you. If he had listened to the turtle, he might have been able to avoid all the trouble he got himself into. But the skinny chicken wasn't the only one to blame. The pigeon, the fat cat, and the dog were also responsible for what happened. They could have been more helpful and welcoming, but instead they chose to be mean and uncaring. The skinny chicken was lucky to have the frog and the squirrel believe in him when no one else did. They helped him achieve his dream and showed him that anything is possible if you try hard enough. In the end, the skinny chicken was successful and became one of the most popular YouTubers in the animal kingdom. His story is a reminder that no matter how difficult things may seem, if you never give up on your dreams, anything is possible. It also teaches us that it's important to be kind to others and to always lend a helping hand when someone needs it. Who knows, maybe one day you'll need help yourself and someone will be there to lend a hand. Now it's time for you to start working on your goals. Remember, if the skinny chicken can achieve his dream, so can you. Just never give up on your dreams and always believe in yourself. Good luck and see you soon. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun stories like this one. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was a beautiful princess who was known for her kindness and compassion. She lived in a magnificent castle surrounded by a lush garden and a moat. Every day she would walk through the gardens, talking to the plants and animals and making sure everyone was happy. One day, while she was walking through the garden, she came across a small cottage. She had never noticed the cottage before, but as she got closer, she heard a loud crash followed by a loud cry. She stopped and listened, then slowly opened the door and walked inside. In the room sat a young woman with long, flowing hair and beautiful wings. She had a pair of magnificent white wings that spanned several feet from tip to tip. The princess was stunned by the sight before her and couldn't help but gasp. The woman looked up and saw the princess standing in the doorway. "Who are you?" she asked in a frightened voice. "I'm the princess," she replied softly. "I heard you make a lot of noise and I wanted to see if you were all right." The woman hesitated for a moment, then slowly nodded her head. "I'm fine," she whispered. "I just tripped over something and broke my vase." The princess walked over to the woman and gently touched her shoulder. "Are you sure you're okay?" she asked. "You don't look or sound okay." The woman looked up at the princess and let out a shaky breath. "I'm not okay," she admitted. "I'm not from around here. I flew away from my home to escape my father, but I didn't know where to go and I ended up here." The princess felt a pang of sympathy for the woman. She could tell that she was strong and brave for running away from her father, but she was also sad and scared. "Why did you have to run away?" she asked. The woman looked down at her hands. "My father is the king of the fairies and he arranged for me to marry a man I didn't know. I refused to accept the marriage and he banished me from our kingdom." The princess was outraged. "That's not fair," she exclaimed. "No one should be forced to marry someone they don't love." The woman looked up at the princess and smiled faintly. "Thank you," she said. "It means a lot to hear those words coming from someone who understands." The princess returned the smile. "Of course I understand," she replied. "I've been through something similar myself. My father arranged for me to marry a prince I didn't know, but I refused and ran away from the castle. I understand how you feel." The woman's eyes widened in surprise. "You've run away from your own father?" she asked. The princess nodded her head. "Yes, I did," she replied. "I couldn't marry someone I didn't know and love, so I decided to run away." The two women talked for hours about their experiences, and the princess learned that the woman's name was Elur. She was a fairy and had magical powers that she could use to heal and protect those around her. As the sun began to set, the princess knew she had to return to the castle. She didn't want anyone to know she had been gone. "I'm sorry, I have to leave," she said to Alara, "but I have to get back before anyone notices I'm gone." Alara nodded her head in understanding. "Of course," she said, "it was nice meeting you, Princess, but I hope you understand that I can't stay here forever. I'm not welcome in this kingdom, and I don't want to cause any trouble." The princess placed a hand on Alara's shoulder. "You won't cause any trouble," she promised. "You're staying with me in the castle." Alara looked up at the princess in surprise. "What?" she exclaimed, "but I can't stay there. I'm not one of your people and I don't belong." The princess shook her head. "That doesn't matter," she insisted. "You're my guest and I want you to stay with me." Lara hesitated for a moment, then slowly nodded her head. "Thank you," she whispered. "That means a lot to me." The princess smiled and offered her hand to help Alara stand up. Together they walked out of the cottage and toward the castle. As they approached, the princess turned to Alara and said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. You just relax and enjoy your stay." Alara returned the smile and took the princess's hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "This means a lot to me." And so the two women entered the castle together and began their new adventure.